Hearts Restored, Finding True Fulfillment in Christ, by Stephanie M. Seton. Heart Restored, Finding True Fulfillment in Christ. In this book, we embark on a journey that explores the depths of human longing and the pursuit of true fulfillment. Innocence Taken by authors Stephanie M. Seton and Rodriguez. Mr. U. Underwood. In this book you will go into the minds of survivors as they share stories of innocence that was taken in childhood. Stop child abuse in all forms. No more innocence taken. The Woman at the Well, authored by Stephanie M. Seton, is a story of grace and redemption. The woman at the well mattered. Is always near. Jesus' blood paid our ransom while we were yet sinners. The book can be found on Amazon.com.
Hello, and welcome again tonight to another amazing episode of the Stephanie M. Seton Sunday Show. I am so happy that you tuned in with us tonight. We have got a young lady that I met, I guess it's been about a month or so ago now. We met at an event, and I reached out, and I mean, we instantly connected. We did an interview. I was actually on her podcast a little bit over, I guess, 3 weeks ago now. But we had a conversation and found out that a lot of things in our lives are parallel. So tonight we are welcoming to the platform Miss Rachel Cardenas. She is the owner of What's Up Dallas magazine, What's Up Dallas music. She's got so many things going on. So let's welcome Miss Rachel.
Hi,
Yes,
everybody.
ma'am. Yes, yes. I am so happy to have you here tonight. As I was sharing with you before we went live, you made me feel so comfortable when you hosted me on your podcast. And that was amazing. I found myself saying way more than I thought it would say. It's like, I think, Rachel, I think you had me on the couch.
Oh,
Um, yeah, but it was amazing opportunity to connect with you in that way, because we've known each other a short period of time, but to feel, a safety zone is what that's about. And so amazing, amazing, amazing. You've got so much stuff going on. I have been watching you, and I know you have actually two magazines. That you have. You have the What's Up Dallas, and then you also have your second photography magazine, which is Your Up. And I saw you're kind of doing like a black and white thing. Is that correct?
I am. So the magazine is called Your It Magazine, and it gives homage and recognition to photographers and models of different genres of photography. And that was the first magazine that I actually started here in Dallas. But it's an international publicized magazine. So I published people from South Africa. I published
Oh, wow.
photographers from the UK, Germany, Scotland, all over the world. Just people who really are just loving photography and the different types of themes that are in there.
Wow, that is amazing. So again, that is what, say the name again.
Your
Your
It
your
Magazine.
your it. I don't know why I want to say you're up. Your It magazine. Okay, very good, very good. And then of course you have What's Up Dallas. And that is where I noticed you. You were doing interviews at an event that I went to, and I saw the magazine spread, and I saw the ads on Facebook, and I was like, "Who is this lady?" How long have you had the What's Up Dallas magazine?
I have had What's Up Dallas magazine since September of 2022. So it's
Okay.
almost 2 years old. It's still a new baby, still new business, but it's thriving and I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're doing really, really well because I do see you quite often on the social media platforms, and that says a lot. That says you're doing really good. A lot of liking and tagging and sharing going on, which I love.
Yes.
um, Now, listen, I have to ask you the question that I usually ask every guest that comes on the show. And
Mhm.
that question is, tell us, who is Rachel? What do you want us to know about Rachel?
Oh my goodness. For all the people out there that don't really know me, they would probably be surprised that I'm a grandmother of 5 grandchildren. ha- I have two step granddaughters. I have an 8-month-old granddaughter, a 2.5-month-old grandson, and a 3.5-year-old grandson. And they are the light of my world. Grandparenting is just something that I never thought I would be doing in my 40s, but
Yeah,
my children surprised me.
yeah,
I was a young mom. I was a young mom at the age of
yeah.
17. So, my kids grew up pretty fast. And right when I hit about 38, 39 years old, I was like, there you are, young adults now and starting your own lives. So,
Yeah.
um, Rachel is also a survivor. I'm a thriver,
Yeah.
multi business owner. Um, I also work part time. I love talking to people, I love to hear their story. I'm just like trying to be an inspiration to anybody that I talk to out there. So
Yeah.
if anybody sees Rachel, just be like, Rachel is really that genuine person that's just trying to help people make it in this world.
I tell you what, that was one of the things that caught my attention also, not just the term What's Up Dallas magazine, but what caught my attention was you had the caption, if you have an amazing or incredible story that you would
Mm-hmm.
like to share, to tell your story, an inspiring story. And I was like, wow, you know, that right there, it says a lot that you're giving people the ability to have, have a voice. And so many people these days, and I talk about it a lot, of course, with the healing being, with the platform being healing, empowerment, transformation. We talk about a lot of people going through transformations of all sorts.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to come on this podcast and to be able to talk to you and do an interview or be featured in your magazine over different transformations that they have been through in their life. I mean, that's a great opportunity to offer. So I salute you for that.
Thank you.
Um, Tell me what family looked like for you when you were growing up. Tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Mm, my childhood actually was not as beautiful as everybody that might think. I came from a very poor family.
Okay.
My mom and dad, they divorced when I was really young, and then my mom, she was just trying to make it with four of us. So there was four of us siblings, and I just remember my mom working really really hard and then coming home, and almost all her paycheck was gone before we knew it. So we thrived on um,
Yeah.
government cheese. Everybody knows about the government cheese, which is kind of
Yes, ma'am. I
um,
know. I know about that block.
yes, the government cheese, the
Yeah.
powdered milk, um,
Yes.
cereal, peanut butter, and bread when we could afford it. I mean, I give props to my mom. She always made sure that we had something to eat.
Yeah.
So my dad, he was there, but he wasn't there a lot during my younger years.
Okay.
So, life was really rough for us. We didn't have nice things. We used to have holes in our clothes, in our shoes and stuff. And, I'm thankful that when I was about, I want to say like 5 years old, 6 years old, my mom, she met my stepdad, and they became really good friends. And he was actually a major part of us kids thriving to be like actually healthy kids. Um,
Yeah.
he told me, he said, when I found you kids and I met your mom, he goes, you were as skinny as a twig. That's what he tells me. That's
Oh, yeah.
country folks. They always say that. Yes, but I was like, I didn't remember being that small. But he told me, he said,
Yeah.
yeah, you kids were definitely on the poverty side of it. And then he took us all in, and my mom, and he was a Terrell police officer at that time. So he
Okay.
actually got help from the Terrell Police Department to help us, actually have a good life. And
Oh, wow.
ever since then, not really too much struggles after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I guess probably just in high school, trying to thrive, trying to fit in. But I think everybody tries to fit in high school. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I was the black sheep. I never could fit in. I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't. My brothers scared off everybody that tried to talk to me.
How many brothers? Three brothers.
I have two brothers,
Two.
and when
Okay. Okay.
when I was going to high school, they were both definitely eyeballing everybody that was trying to talk to me. So yeah, I never dated in high school.
Yeah. You didn't have a chance, right?
No, no, I didn't. Not until I was
Yeah.
16. They were just doing their own thing. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's how life was for me. I learned to appreciate the little things in life because when I didn't have it, it wasn't all given to me. I was just really thankful to have this little plastic box with a little plastic key when I was a small kid. That was my favorite thing. I used to put everything in there, and I was cherished it like it was gold to me.
That's
So it was
sweet.
nice.
That was, that was a simpler time when it didn't take very much, because we
Mhm.
did, and I grew up very similar. I grew up in a house where it was about 12 or 13 of us after my parents got divorced. We moved into my grandmother's house, and it was about 12 or 13 of us in the house. And so it was very tight. And so I know about all those things as well. And I can crack a joke now. I mean, it wasn't funny at that time, but I remember who I was talking to one time, but I was like, yeah, I know about turning on the light so that the roaches run. And I know to stomp my feet so that the rats run. Okay. You learn about stomping the feet and turning on the light. Okay.
Yes. In a
But
poverty situation, I get that.
yeah, yeah, but I thank God that the Lord has been good, and I'm far beyond those days now. But you never forget those things. You never forget humble beginnings, and I kind of feel like that's why the Lord put it in my heart to just try to help people now because
Mhm.
I have seen the syrup sandwich days. Did you ever do syrup sandwiches?
I did syrup sandwiches, yes. I have
Okay,
done
okay. Yeah, about syrup sandwiches and ketchup sandwiches.
I do. I also my dad used to make us was it grandma spread sandwiches? I don't know if anybody knows about that. It's
Now,
peanut
what
butter
is that?
jelly and butter. Peanut butter, jelly, and butter. You mix it together and then you put it on a sandwich.
Now
That
that's
was
it.
his thing.
Okay. 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 But
Mhm.
no, we definitely have some similarities in our stories, and there's probably so many people that can identify with the things that we're saying, and I think it's so important, Rachel, that we always, regardless of where the Lord blesses us to go to, that we always remember those days,
Yeah,
because it constantly keeps us in a reminder of how far the Lord has brought us, right?
right.
Um, Tell me a little bit about your faith. Like, at what point did your faith come into your life? I know that you're a believer. I've seen several of the quotes, and we've talked a little bit about your belief system. Kind of tell me, was your family into church or ministry when you were growing up, or what brought you to your faith?
My family was always in the faith. Ever since my parents were married together, my dad, he would be filling in for the pastor sometimes on the pulpit. My
Okay.
mom, she was a children's minister. She used to do the puppetry for the little kids.
Yeah.
So she worked with the kids a lot. And I don't remember too much of that. She said I was really young.
Yeah.
But when we divorced, not we, but my parents, my parents divorced,
Yeah.
I was still going to church with my dad. I was still going to church with my mom. So the faith never really left me. And my parents were always telling us, like, don't judge our relationship on the faith. You still got to depend on God for everything, which is
Right.
really what they distilled into me. And so I guess I could always say I was a church kid.
Yeah.
And I always knew about Jesus. I always knew that God always had my back, even
Yeah.
if I was, just, kid out there not really paying attention.
Right.
So, um, but I didn't really fully surrender to Jesus until I
Yeah.
was 19. I
Okay.
was going through a really hard um, marriage at that time. The guy was really abusive.
Wait a
I already
minute.
had, yeah,
You got married at 19?
got married at 17.
Okay, because I was 19. Okay, I was going to say, oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so
Yes.
you were 17. Okay. Okay.
hmm I got married very young. I became a mom at 17 as well. By the time I was 19, I already had 2 children, but I was in a really abusive relationship. And I told God, I said, please provide me a way out of this because I know you don't want me to end up, dead and my children, not to have their mom. So I said, if you're listening to me, please provide me a way out.
Yeah.
And at that moment, he actually my spouse at that time, he got arrested for assaulting someone, and it wasn't he wasn't around me. He got arrested away from the house, and he got locked up for 7 months for assaulting someone. And during that opportunity, when he got locked up, I said, I'm just going to take advantage of this because there's no other way this could have happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So um, after that, I was like, okay, God, I know you're listening to me. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm fully surrendering to you.
Yeah.
Whatever you got for me, whatever purpose you have for me, I'm gonna count on you for it. So thank you for getting me out of this and keep me going with my
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is beautiful. And that's exactly how he works, Rachel. We pray and we have the faith to believe. And that's the thing. The key thing is having the faith to believe. And I'm sure in your heart, obviously, because he did it for you, you believe that he was going to do something to make it happen for you. And look what he did. I mean,
Mhm.
wow, that's an inspiration, and I hope that if there's anyone watching, whether you be a young lady or a young man, and you're in an abusive situation, the Lord answers prayers. He definitely moves in supernatural ways, and He answers prayers. We have Candy Usher here. She said, "Black sheep is everything we learn. We don't have to fit in." Yeah, definitely. I've been the black sheep in my family forever as well. I don't know anything else at this point. So I definitely understand that as well. As Candy
Mhm.
Usher said, that surrender to the purpose. Yes, that is the key word.
Yes.
That is the key
Yes.
word. I think I may have said that on your platform as well, but that's what I feel like that's what shifted or
Mhm.
catapulted my life was when I
Yeah.
finally surrendered, because God wants what's best for us. He wants what's good for us. But, Rachel, until we realize we can't do it on our own, because something in our crazy thinking makes us think that we have the answers.
We don't.
um, yeah, we definitely don't. But yeah, when we do that surrender, then we're able to actually allow His plan to come, and it's so much better, isn't it? When you actually surrender, right?
Yes, it really is difficult because let's just be honest, doing our
Yeah,
will and doing God's will is completely the opposite, for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, how many times have you wrote out a list, whether it was of what you wanted to do with your life, or things that you want in other people? But we make these lists and we think that that's how God we think that that's how God operates, like he's gonna take our little shopping list or our little personality or our little personality, hey Rachel, our little personality trait list. And
Well,
he's gonna construct what we want by order. Like, what is it, who is it that says make it your have it your way? Is that Burger King?
Burger King, yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
like God's gonna be like Burger King, have it your way, give me your list. Like, no, that's not reality. So
No.
yeah. um I mean, it's
Well,
funny when you think about it, but that's kind of what we do, right?
mhm. I
Yeah,
um I didn't start actually writing my list of what or even asking God really specifics about
yeah,
the loves in my life
yeah.
until my newest husband. So I've been with him 9 years. We've been married almost 8.
Okay.
Um, but I just got tired of being in an abusive relationship, and I got tired of people taking advantage of me. So
Yeah.
they would they would love the way I care for them, but they wouldn't love me and they wouldn't love my kids. So even though
Mm,
like I was my second marriage, even though I was married to him, I still felt like a single mom. Like I was still taking care of my kids, no help. He was
yeah,
there, but he
you have
wasn't,
a partner. Yeah.
Yes. So in that situation, we did divorce. He became very abusive as well, and I heard on a sermon one day when I was at my church that was closest to us at that time. Our
Hmm.
pastors told us that we need to be very specific for what we pray for. Because
Yes.
he said, ladies, if you're going to pray for a husband, yeah, he's going to send you a husband, but he may not be a good one. He may not be the
Hmm.
right one.
Yeah.
So when you pray to God, you got to be specific. If you say, God,
Very.
I need money. Okay, well, God can give you money, but what do you need it for? What are the specifics? How is He going to give
Yeah.
it to you? Like,
Mhm.
so I prayed that God would send me someone that would go to church with me. I never had any spouse of mine go to church with me.
Mm.
I had somebody that was going to love God, love me,
Yeah.
love my children, work hard,
Yeah.
not be tempted by drugs or alcohol or partying, and
Yeah.
somebody that really wanted a family, like really, really wanted a family.
Yeah.
So then I met my husband now, and he's everything on that list except for he's a lot more than I asked for. Because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like some of the things that he does, I'm just like, I didn't ask God for that, but I'm thankful for it. Like he's got a
Yeah.
passion for helping others.
Yeah.
Um, he has a passion for the grandkids. Like you ever see him with our grandkids and stuff? Oh my gosh, he's like the biggest kid in the room. Um, yes,
Yeah.
they're all over him. Like it's just one of those things that I'm just like, I thank you, God, that you really listen to my list. But
Yeah.
to encourage women out there who are looking for a husband, listen up, ladies, be
Yeah.
specific, especially
Yeah.
if you've been in that fight for trying to find love, or the idea of being in love. You have to be specific when you talk to God about anything. Work too. Yeah.
That is true. Miss Charity Anderson said, being specific is everything." Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
And I am praying that the Lord sends me a spouse, and I have a short list,
Yeah,
but that
I think about this.
yeah, the list is just specific things. Loving me,
Mhm.
loving my children, being a partner in ministry, being, supportive, being, first of all, I think the number one thing for me is him having a relationship with Christ. Because I
Mhm.
feel like as long as he has a real relationship with Christ, everything else is going to fall in line. You see what I'm saying?
That's
But
it.
I do have some specifics, but the biggest one is having a personal relationship with Christ, and
Mhm.
that means outside of the walls. I'm not talking about somebody to say, "Oh, I go to church on Sundays and Wednesdays." That everybody wants to say that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Mhm.
about in your house, in your car, on your job, like personal space when nobody's watching. You know,
Yes.
and so,
Yeah.
but yeah, Miss Charity said, and he will do just that. Yes, ma'am, Charity. Hey, I'm holding out. I'm holding out. I know that he is coming soon. It's like I can sense it. I
Mhm.
don't know exactly when, but I can sense it. And then a man that wants to be a father, because my son's father is not active in his life. And so I know that the man that the Lord has for me and for my youngest son has to be a man that wants to be a father, that loves kids,
Absolutely.
because Isaiah needs that. And so we're just waiting until that moment happens. But we've got Miss LaRonda in the house, so we've got several people tuning in and watching tonight. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, so listen, we've talked a little bit about What's Up Magazine. We have talked about your It Magazine. Talked a little bit about family, about faith. What is your biggest inspiration, Rachel? What would you say your biggest? For me, I would say my inspiration or my why. I usually say it's my boys. My
Mhm.
boys are my reason. Like they
Mhm.
saw me broken. They've seen, especially my oldest son. He's seen me go through the divorces. He's seen me go through the stuff. He never witnessed any type of abuse,
Mhm.
anything like that. But he saw me go through the stuff. He saw me in the depression state, stuff like that.
Right.
So for me, it was really important, Rachel, that I get myself together and that I pour back into them, a healed mom, because it,
Mhm.
it changed my love for them. You know, um, I didn't grow up real mushy and touchy and affectionate and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I've had to learn to be mushy, to be affectionate, to be touchy feely. I've had to learn to do that.
Yeah.
And for my oldest, he kind of looks at me like. But for the youngest, he's more open to it. I can't hardly keep him out of my room. He thinks he's supposed to be in my room every day. Okay,
Mhm.
but my oldest, he'll go along with it. But I think he's just like, "Oh, mom, like I'm too old for this."
That's funny.
um, but what would you say is your inspiration, Miss Rachel? Tell us a little bit about that. What that looks like for you.
My inspiration for life or behind my magazine?
Life magazine, whichever one you want to say.
I'll list both of them actually, because it's just I have two different journeys that I'm on. So I still have the mom path, and then I have the business path. So
Yeah.
on the mom path, my inspiration is of course my kids. Everything that I've ever done in my life, as far as not surviving, not thriving, well, yeah, not surviving, but just thriving,
Right.
keep pushing forward. I always was that woman that had to keep going because I couldn't depend on the people that I was with or married to. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be an inspiration for my kids, that if I could do it as like a mom with 4 kids, that
Yeah.
they could do it too, regardless of their situation. So
Right.
I worked hard. I've been pretty much working 2 jobs until, yeah, since forever. Because I mean, I still have my business here, but I work a part-time too. So I've never not known what it's like to work, because I've always had to work.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't really had anybody else I could depend on.
I get that.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So when I
was
mhm,
14. I
mhm,
lied about my age. I can say that now. I think, but all my friends had jobs, and I needed to be able to help buy my stuff for drill team because my mom
mhm,
was a single parent, and so Rachel, I lied about my age to get a job. So I've been working at least 1, 2 jobs right now. I got about 4 or 5 of them, but
mhm.
I'm like you. That's another thing we have a commonality because I've been doing that as well, working multiple jobs as well.
Yes,
So you've been an entrepreneur all your life,
pretty much, pretty much.
a
I
go
have,
getter.
yes, I have always been a go-getter. Like I said, I was a mom at 17, so I've been working since I was 16. But when I was 17, I was going to work, I was going to school, and then I was taking care of my baby at home. So
Mhm.
it's like I didn't have any time to rest. I didn't know what that was like. So I always
Yeah.
stayed busy. And then when I had 2 kids, then I was like, okay, I had finished school. I did graduate high school, with 2 kids. And I was working 2 jobs. So I was working at IHOP, and then I was working at Waffle House. And then in between, I was getting sleep.
Let me just say something for a minute. Okay, let me repeat what I just heard because
Hmm.
I'm like in shock right now. Okay, so you had your first child at 17.
Yes,
You had a second one. I'm assuming kind of back to back.
19.
You finished. You finished high school. You were
Yes,
working 2 jobs, and you
yes.
were in college.
I went to college after my fourth child was born.
But
So, mhm.
I'm in awe. Let me just say this. I salute you. I need to look at the camera. I salute you, Rachel. Because think about how many women would have stopped with one child at that
Mhm.
age. But the fact that the Lord gave you the strength, the courage, and the grace to
Mhm.
pick up and to keep going. And I heard you say you were in abusive relationships. So the fact
Mhm.
that you still had that burning desire within you to want more for yourself and for your kids. I just want to take this moment to just tell you I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for doing that, not only for yourself, but thinking about your kids, because I'm sure you had it in your mind that regardless of what I'm going through right now, I've got
Mhm.
to do better for the future. So I
Mhm.
salute you, lady. I salute you. That is a lot to carry
Mhm.
um, at that young of an age. And in reality, it would have been so much easier to quit.
Yes.
But the fact that you kept going, I want you to. That's a big win for you. And so
Mhm.
I just want to let you know we hear you, we see you. That is a big win. I'm very proud of you that you didn't let any of that stop you because as you were naming off the things that you had going, any one of those things by itself
Yeah.
will stop somebody. So
Mhm.
amazing, amazing. Yeah.
Yes. So I had my third baby at 20 years old. So
Okay.
we'll get more into that journey afterwards. So my third baby at 20, and then I have two angel babies in between my third and my fourth baby. So my youngest child I had at the age of 25, and I actually went to college to pursue a business management degree at the age of 25, and I was pregnant. I was like 6 months pregnant with him, and after I had him, I still continued to do college as well as working and taking care of the other three kids as well. So it was I just never gave up. But my kids have always been my inspiration for everything. I just wanted
Wow.
them to know that if I could do it, they could do it, and that mom did something good for herself, to make her kids
Do
proud.
do your kids know? Have you ever sat down and like talked to your kids about your full story? I'm just curious.
I have. They didn't really appreciate my story about survival and about my struggle of what it was like raising them and all the abuse that I have been through, because they didn't see the actual physical abuse that I was enduring. It was always when they were either asleep or they were away from me or something. They didn't
Yeah.
see that I was going through it. So I was showing them that mom can still be strong. Mom's still going to make it. Like mom is going to continue to provide for them. They didn't really appreciate it until they had their own children. So
Yeah.
my three older children are all parents now, and they all have their own babies. So
Yeah. That's kind of what we do for those of us who have been in abusive situations and we have children. Candy Usher, she just said, "What we hide from them, we try our best to protect the children,
mm-hmm.
um, and at the same time not let them know the real deal." But then the aftermath is we have to, at some point, they want to know, well, what happened? Why didn't the marriage work? And you try your
Mm-hmm.
best so hard to protect the other person, to protect the other people, should I say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sometimes, you do have to kind of tell your truth. But I can imagine that that's I know it was challenging for me to talk about some things with my older son.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine. But, I think that I don't think we necessarily owe it to them, but I think it helps them to understand who we are as their mothers, as their
Mm-hmm.
fathers. But they kind of know our journey a little bit. I think
Mm-hmm.
that we can have a one sided vision of our parents. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
Yeah,
I never saw my parents argue. Honestly, if they ever argued about something, it was always behind closed doors and probably while we were sleeping.
yeah,
So it's like my parents wanted to preserve that around us kids. They told us that whenever they had adult discussion, that they called it discussion instead of arguing, but they taught us that what parents talk about. I guess this is old generation talk, older generation, but whenever parents are talking, the kids don't have to be in the business. The parents are just talking about big people stuff. That's what they called it.
yeah,
And so anytime I learned to respect my parents because of that, because we never saw them argue. We just know that they're like, hey, mom and dad, I need to go talk. We'll be back with your answer. Like, say it was somebody coming over to stay the night, or if it was to make an expense for one of us kids, they had to talk about it, but we never heard what they were talking about.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I
I,
just
I,
never seen my parents argue. So it's just it wasn't something that I was used to. I just knew my parents
yeah,
were divorced when I was young. That's all I know.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, and this is a big word.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of when I say the word divorce?
I guess for me it would be broken home.
Yeah,
Um, that's what comes to mind. But
yeah.
there are a lot of couples out there who are married, not divorced, in broken homes. And let's be
Wait a minute. Ooh, slow down.
honest.
Listen, listen.
Hmm.
You said a lot right there.
Hmm.
Oh my God. Say that again, but say it slow. Say that again.
When we think of the word divorce, the word that comes to me is broken home. But
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of people that are still married, that are still
Mm.
in broken homes.
Jesus. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Rachel. Yes. Wow. And whew, mm,
That's real talk. That's real talk. A lot of people don't talk about that. But
yeah, yeah.
mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think well I know for myself I've seen some things like I've even played a part in it. Let me be honest. Let me be open. I there was a point in time where I was buying my own birthday presents. I was buying my own Christmas presents. I was buying my own gifts for everything because I was married to a spouse who wouldn't do those things. And I could
Mm-hmm.
not dare tell my family those things. So I would buy gifts and, holidays, whatever it was, and address them to myself and put them under the tree or just whatever. And, after the fact, when I got healed from that marriage, I had to come to grips like I was so far gone that I was doing all this stuff to have an image, to look apart. And you got, it's really crazy when you really sit back and look at it. But I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, yeah, there's a lot of people that are in marriages that are still broken homes, but a lot of them are. I think it's this fantasy facade that people put on. They don't want people to know. It's kind of like we get Facebook ready,
Yeah.
when lights, camera, action. Everybody's on this picture, but you don't know before they took the click. It's like if we don't get on this picture, I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's those. I don't know. I've seen it. I've seen it a lot of times. I just love the way you said that, though, Rachel. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
the way that you
Mm-hmm.
said that was amazing. Candy said that's how people associated broken home instead of freedom for the person needing it, an entrance to healing, better mental and emotional health. Yeah,
Speak it, Miss
because
Candy.
yeah, because a lot of people, I'm not an advocate for getting divorced. Let me say that. But I do say when it comes to your mental, physical, emotional health,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to do what you spiritual. You have got to do
Mm-hmm.
what you've got to do to be able to stay here. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're in some type of situation that your existence is threatened, but that's kind of why we have to get to a healed version of ourselves, which is kind of what
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about before. Even though we both started out as single moms and struggling and waiting for the Lord to bless us to these different areas, we have to
Mm-hmm.
thank God for that healing stage that comes along where you're able to think better and make better choices, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have been able to do so many different amazing things. What was a turning point for you? Like before you started your magazines, and the Lord blessed you with your marriage. I mean, what was the turning point when all these amazing things started to go in the right direction, started to happen? Can you put your finger on what the turning point was, or was it just overwhelming blessings all at one time? And like, what was it for you, Miss Rachel?
For me, the turning point in my life, let's see. My first turning point really when I started like valuing myself, I was
Yeah.
32 years old.
Okay.
I was 32 years old, just coming out of a marriage the person that I was married to at that time, he was very abusive and stuff. I had just divorced him. But my
Okay.
whole time that I was in that marriage, I was trying to put forth an image that he would appreciate. But he never
Mm,
appreciated the real me.
yeah.
So when I had that divorce finalized, I was like, you know what? It's time that I start learning that I'm beautiful just like I am. I'm
Yeah.
perfect the way I am. And if he can't accept me for the person that I am, then
Yeah.
he really doesn't deserve me. And I just got to a point where I was just ready to just love myself, to be
Yeah.
healed, to learn to appreciate myself and be like, I am a good woman. Like I am created in, God created me and God doesn't make mistakes.
No, he
So
doesn't.
that was the first turning point for me, learning to love myself. And then I went back to my brown hair because I was a blondie at that time.
Okay.
I went back to my brown hair. I started taking better care of myself. I started eating better. I started getting a more sound sleep. And you're probably the first person I'm going to tell this to on an interview. But the moment that that guy left my house,
Mhm.
like when I kicked him out, because it was the day that the black cloud left my house. Like it was
Mm,
a sigh of relief. And
yeah,
I have to say that was really the best thing that ever happened to me.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
and then
sounds
after,
like he had a dark attachment or a demonic oppression type attachment.
and I believe so. I think his just his whole demeanor, his whole physical presence was just very dark. And
Yeah,
when he left, it was amazing. I did not feel any resentment. I felt relief. I didn't
yeah,
feel like I was going to regret it. I was started being like, you know what, God, I know that person's not for me. So I know you have something better for me, but I'm gonna wait. Um, and I did wait. I did wait. And
yeah,
I actually started taking better care of myself too, because while I was so caught up in trying to change my image for someone else, I started loving myself. I started eating better. I started feeling better. I
yeah.
started like paying attention to my needs instead of trying to please someone
Cater
else.
to him. Yeah, yeah,
Yes. And I started spending more time with my kids too. Like they were always there with me, but it's
yeah.
almost like because of that dark feeling in my house.
Mhm.
The kids were a little agitated. I was a little agitated. He was a little agitated. So as soon as he left, they were like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad he's gone." Like, you know,
Yeah,
everybody felt it and nobody was sad about it.
yeah. I get
that's
it. I get it.
that's when it really started changing for me. And I met my husband now. I met him at the gym. We became friends
Okay.
before we were dating, and then we dated, and we had to choose. People don't really talk about that, but you had to choose to love someone. So
Oh, oh,
we,
wait a minute. You said another. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay,
yes,
let me read Candy's comment. Candy said, whole spiritual atmosphere change. Yes, Candy. And we talk about that a lot. Me and Miss
mm,
Candy do a lot of talking about spiritual. She is my spiritual warfare partner, and she prays.
mm-hmm,
Me and her pray together about a lot of things that we're going through in the spirit realm. We
yes,
had it even earlier today. And then she said, speaking a word with that, changing ourselves for other people, forgetting who we are. Yes, I have done that too, Rachel. I have pretended I like things that I never liked just because they liked them. Let me tell you, I had this fascination with this guy one time. He worked out all the time. Now, listen, I don't even, I'll go to the gym. And at one point, I've had several people that I've dated or either were married to who went to gym. Okay. But I am not a gym person, like obsessed with going to the gym. I am not. But during this time, listen, I got down so skinny. I was doing all this gym stuff just to see this person, just to be around this person, just wearing myself out, just wearing myself out. Do you hear me?
mm-hmm,
And listen, the things we do, right?
mm-hmm,
But yeah, so I'm laughing. Yeah. So that was your inspirational point. With that cloud, that's presence, that demonic oppression leaving your house, and I can only
mm-hmm,
imagine what that atmosphere felt like with freedom and peace.
yes,
Um, So, what is next for you? You've got the two magazines. You've got the What's Up Dallas music.
mm-hmm,
I'm just so grateful that you're here telling us your story. I know you're inspiring some young women and even some young men that are listening because a lot of times we don't talk about it, but men go through things too. It's not always the women that are the victims. I must say that.
mm-hmm,
We have men that go through things too. There are men who are being left with the children. There are
yeah,
men who, are trying to hold it down and doing all the things. And, they're with
mm-hmm,
somebody that has unhealed trauma that is sabotaging the relationship. I have talked to several men most recently, and they are victims of some of the things that we don't commonly hear, you
right,
know? So what are some new things that you have coming up with your platform? Some things that are happy and good, and in your new space with your new husband, in the magazines, and your beautiful smile, and your new haircut.
Thank you.
Yes. What do
Oh
you got
man,
going?
this year was a time for me to get back to my true purpose, which was to inspire people with
Yeah.
everything that I do. So, What's Up Dallas magazine is transformed into a platform where people can tell their testimonies to help
Yes.
inspire others. So it's community oriented. I go to events. I do all kinds of social media. If there's like an entrepreneur group that's there, I do their media too. Concerts. I do Christian hip hop concert. Love them. Love them, by the way.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and I also talk to like really awesome people in the community, and I help bring out like the awareness that these people are actually there to help them.
Right.
So, as far as What's Up Dallas magazine, we're going to continue with interviews. I have at least, I want to say 20 people on my roster. So, I'm going to try to release one interview every week instead of doing it like I get a whole year of content. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
So, 4 pages of guests. The people that are the music artists that I'm going to be interviewing are going to go on my What's Up Dallas Music YouTube channel.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I feel it's time I separate the two
Okay.
because I already have so many music artists that have testimonials and they want to talk about their music. And there's also the
Okay.
community leaders. So I'm going to
Fine.
split them
Separate the
up.
two. Okay. That
Yes.
sounds like a good thing.
Hmm.
What kind of events do you have? Like, you have any in person or online events coming up that you want to let the viewers know about?
My goal is to eventually throw a gala. If I get enough sponsors, I want to throw a gala to help raise money for
Okay.
the community partners that we have. So there's a lot of community outreach centers that we've been interviewing on our channel. Some that we go to their shows, like there's a recovery center, there's a rescue center in Oak Cliff that we just did an event at actually,
Hmm.
and they're open 24/7. So anytime someone has a drug addiction, or if they need to be rescued, they need prayer, they need food, they need drinks, or something like that, there's a rescue center in Oak Cliff, and that is there for them. So kind of want to give back to that one. The recovery center is called the Well Recovery Center,
Okay.
and they actually have a number where people can call if they need to be picked up. Like say they're in like a drug addiction situation, they can't get out. They need help. Like if they really want the help, the recovery center is there. It's 24/7 as well. Um,
Wow.
Her Future Matters is a domestic violence and breast cancer awareness organization that we're going to be interviewing here a little while later. And their story, their founder too, also has a really amazing story. So we kind of want to give back to them as well. And then um, there's another one called Jasmine's Beats, where she actually provides a place where people with disabilities or mental health disorders, they can actually go there and still learn how to dance. Even it's like
Oh,
adaptive dance therapy, and
yeah, yeah.
kind of want to get back to them. And then also the Courageous Conquerors. I don't know if they're watching this right now, but Cynthia Ferguson has a really amazing story too, and kind of want to get back to her too because she's really awesome. I just want to celebrate the community that we've already networked with. That's really what I want to do. Bring them all together.
I love that. I love that. Well, listen, if there's anything I can do, if any of those guests want to be able to come on my platform and tell their story, please direct them over to me, because that's what it's about. It's about us giving people an opportunity to tell their stories. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely interested in partnering with you if you want to do that. And I've got some upcoming things coming up. I'll talk to you off camera about some of those, some opportunities we can partner together for change and for
Mm-hmm.
social. social events. Um, Tell us a little bit about your contact information. I know you have Facebook pages. How can people get in touch with you if they want to partner with you, if they want to make a donation to your organization? How can they get in touch with you, Miss Rachel?
It's really easy to find me. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I also have a website and YouTube, but we are all under What's Up Dallas Magazine. So if you literally Google What's Up Dallas Magazine, any of those links will find me. If you want to email me directly, it's What's Up Dallas Magazine at gmail.com. If you want to text me or call me, I'm okay with that too. 469 805 4206. If you want to donate, we are definitely in need of donations for sure. So it takes money to go to events, it takes money to travel, it takes money for gas. And we're looking for donations and sponsors, like full-time sponsors. But you can donate at What's Up Dallas Donate, and that's going to be on Cash App. So that's the only way we have to donate right now. Or you can just like text me and say, hey, Rachel, I want to give it to your organization. Like, how can I do that? So just reach out to me. I'm old school. And then Monica, she just commented.
Miss Monica. Miss Monica. Monica's in a series that I just done. She's one of the collaborations in the series. Thank you, Miss Monica. So she's got your Gmail there. She's so amazing.
She is.
And then let's see. Okay. That's the same thing twice. Okay. I want to make sure I show it. Yes. And so please reach out to Miss Rachel, see how you can be a blessing to her on her platform. She's partnered up with a lot of different organizations that are nonprofits that need some type of funding to be able to do the different services in the community. So please hit up Miss Rachel. Listen, Miss Rachel, it has been amazing talking to you tonight. Just so easy to interview you because you're just amazing. But listen, in our final thoughts, I want to ask you, when you think of healing, empowerment, and transformation, which one stands out to you? And just kind of tell me a little bit about why.
Healing. Healing stands out to me the most because if you never heal from your trauma, you can't get past it and you can't inspire others. So that's why it stands out to me the most.
Healing. Because Monica says, awesome testimony. Many blessings to you, ladies, and abundance, and God enlarge their territory for your honor and glory. Thank you, Miss Monica.
Thank you.
She's amazing too. But healing is definitely the beginning, because if you don't get healed, you can't have empowerment nor transformation, because you would stay stuck. You would stay stuck. But I always say it, and I'll continue to say it, your mind. The Bible says, be ye therefore transformed by the renewing of your mind. So regardless of what you've got going on, you still have to get up, put those clothes on, go to school with those two, get somebody to help you with those 2 babies, those 3 babies, whatever you got to do, you've got to, get it done, because at the end of the day, it's going to pay off. It may be tough, whatever situations you're facing. It may be a tough situation right now. We're not saying that, life doesn't throw us some tough situations. But the reality of the situation is, if you stay there, you don't have a chance. So you have to have the mindset that, you know what, I'm going to push through this, because you want to see what's on the other side. That's what we're saying. We're not minimizing struggle, because Lord knows we know about struggle. But what we're saying is, you got to push to get to the other side. Right, Rachel? What would you say about that?
Absolutely. You gotta keep understanding, and I know it's really something that we keep pushing the issue on, but mindset is everything. If you change your mindset in your situation, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? I don't understand it. Why, God, why is this happening to me? If you change it around and you start understanding that God is building a character for the future, your mindset will change a whole lot better, because I never really question God why I was going through what I was going through. But I
Yeah.
tell my kids, especially my girls now, I said, what I went through when I was younger is so I can help you overcome what you might experience. Or
If they
maybe there's,
listen.
yes, if there's a young adult out there, a young kid, a young mom out there that needs some inspiration, I was like, if my story can change somebody's perception and give them hope, even if it's just one person, I'm okay with that because that means it's worth it. But you have to
Yeah.
change the mindset.
Yeah. I mean, you said pretty much what I feel in my heart as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go around telling my business just to be telling my business. The Lord
Mm-hmm.
told me to be transparent. He told me that people needed real stories. They need real testimonies. People need to hear that, okay, I see you praising God over here doing all these things now, but what did you get delivered from? We need to talk about that stuff. Where did
Mm-hmm.
you come from? What did God deliver you from, set you free from? Because people are in bondage, they're struggling from things. And if nobody's bold enough or transparent enough to say, listen, I struggled with alcoholism, with promiscuity, with drugs, with whatever, but the Lord delivered me, then what inspiration, what hope do we have for people? People want to
Right.
see evidence. Am I right?
That's
They
it.
want to hear, they want to, yeah, they want to see evidence, especially in the society that we live in now. You
Mm-hmm.
can't go to people these days talking to them about a God that they can't see what he's doing. You've got
Mm-hmm.
to be able to give them some revelation. Tell them what you were addicted to. Tell them how you got changed and you did not do it on your own. We
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to be more vocal and real. I think the key word is real.
Yeah.
That's it. Because that is what is going to lead people to the cross when they see the real power of the cross. And so,
Yes.
listen, you kind of went into my last thing. I was going to ask you what would you say to your younger self, but you kind of already kind of said it. But did you want to add anything to that? What would you say to your younger self? Because you kind of addressed the younger women, but
I do. I want to say something. So, if I was to go back and say something to my younger self, I
yeah,
would tell myself that to not be so hard on myself for finding love. That God's
mm,
love is perfect and God's love is always there. And
mm,
even though people may fail me, God will never
mm,
fail me. And I think that's probably the most important lesson that I've learned in my journey,
yeah,
that God has always been there, and to rely on him a little bit more. Just trust God. Like those two words, trust God. That's
yeah.
that's really what I would tell myself. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Wow.
Hmm.
Mm, um. Wow. Yeah, I would say that to myself too. I would say trust him sooner.
Hmm.
I would say trust him sooner. Because looking for love in all the wrong places gets you in a lot of stuff. It
Yeah.
gets you in a lot of stuff. But I thank God, and I'm going to close on this note. There's a song by this group called Maverick City,
Hmm.
and what is it? Oh gosh, just before I said it, um, it doesn't make sense. He says they say um something about oh before right now. But anyway, in the song they say, I should have lost my mind, but you stepped in right on time. And
Hmm.
then they say the line that I wouldn't have been mad at you back then if I would have known now what I don't know now back then. And I thought, I heard that song last night and I had a whole praise moment. I'm telling you, because
Mm.
I have openly confessed about how I was angry with God because he
Yeah.
let all these things happen to me, Rachel. But when I
Hmm.
heard that song, and I played that song about 3 or 4 times, and I heard that line, and he said, I would not have been mad at you, God, if I
Hmm.
had known then what I know right now, because it all makes sense. And he says it in the song that it all makes sense now. All the things that happened that he allowed to happen were part of the plan, were part of the blessing. And I was just like, oh my God. But listen,
Hmm.
that song right there, and I wish I could think of the name of the song, but I can't think of it. But it's by Maverick City, and they say it says things make sense.
Right.
You know, I'll think of it after the broadcast is over. You know, I'm going to think of it after the
We're
broadcast.
both going to Google it.
Yeah, we're going to Google it. If somebody's watching, I wish you could just throw it in the comments, because I know everybody knows this song. It's so popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back now or something. Anyway, Miss Rachel, I love you, lady. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Stay there for just a minute. I want to talk to you about a couple things. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight to another amazing episode, the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. We will be back on Thursday night. Thursday night, we will have an amazing author here, Mr. Andre Hooper. Will be here, and he will be talking about his book series. He has got some amazing things going on. He has created characters, and I'll let him describe it, but he has a whole, I would call it like sci-fi line, animation line, and stories are just amazing. And they go all the way back to culture and history. And he's got all of these superheroes. And so I thought that was just amazing. I met him at an author event not too long ago. So make sure you tune in on Thursday night, 7:30. We're going to have an amazing interview. Thank you, Miss Rachel. You can catch this edition on Rachel's platforms, as well as on my YouTube channel, the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. We'll also be sharing it. And please like, tag, and share all over Facebook, so that this can inspire and touch someone. Again, everything is about healing, empowerment, and transformation. So thank you so much for tuning in.
If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.